word. Live on Facebook. I used to do it the other way around, but I learned this works better. Oops. Okay. All right. So, I plan to start with an example of going from being stressed out about something with your child to enjoying again. So, because I didn't even, it's not like I thought of this. It's just like when I was wondering what to focus on, this popped in, just like suddenly popped into my mind. So I'm going with that. Okay. And then we can talk about it after. So okay. I'm going to screen share. And I opened up everything before before the show, so that anyway, it wasn't responding, but it started to now. Okay. Appreciating what is. Raising happy kids. That's the theme. Okay, this is a mother talking with her daughter. Robin, yesterday you told me that after school you were going to Jennifer's. Today, Mrs. Lee said you never came to their house and that she saw you playing baseball in the park. It really hurts my feelings that you lied to me. Also, I need to know where you are. I'm sorry, Mom. I thought you would be mad and wouldn't let me go to baseball. I'm sorry too, because in the past that would have been true. Remember our little talk yesterday evening about the class I've been taking? Well, I really want things to be different. I want us to have a good relationship. I really want you to begin to make your own decisions about your life. I know you said that, but I know you hate it when I do tomboy things. I want you to be happy, Mom, but baseball makes me happy. The other kids say I'm a great player. Thank you for sharing this with me, Robin. I'm so sorry I've made it so difficult for you to be you. I guess I wanted a daughter who wanted beautiful clothes and to play dress up and study ballet. I realize now that these things don't appeal to you. I'm so sorry I've tried to force you to be someone you're not. I love you very much, and I want to do my best to support the kind of life you want to live. Since I'm not familiar with these kinds of activities, you will have to educate me and let me know what you need. Thanks so much, Mom. I'm sorry I haven't been the kind of daughter you want. Maybe when I'm older, I'll want to dress up in fancy clothes. Maybe you will, sweetheart, but right now I feel very good with the way you are. I already feel like a better mother for wanting you to be yourself instead of someone I created in my mind. So tell me, what can I do to help you? I hope you mean that, Mom, because I need a lot of equipment and clothing. The other kids have been sharing with me. Yes, I do mean that. But I have to warn you, I can't promise that I'll ever really love baseball. That's okay, Mom. And I won't ever lie to you again. I promise. Oh, okay. I didn't know it ended so quickly.
Oh, it was a good one.
Whoops. Okay. I was just getting back to this screen, so.
That was a good scenario. It worked out in the end. The outcome was good. They
Yeah,
resolved an issue, and the kid actually came out and said she'll never lie again. And so now they have a contract. They have her word on that. So
right.
it worked out well in the end. And the
Yeah,
mom took the time to talk instead of just go into punishment mode,
right.
start
But
yelling and being mad like a large percentage of mothers might tend to do in that situation.
right,
Um,
right.
Specifically, the person who like snitched off the kid and told the mom she saw her at the ballpark instead of at the girl's house. Um, I would have maybe, if I was the mom, or my personal thing, I would have asked her, before I told her someone snitched her off, but I would have said, did you really go to your friend's house or did you
Uh,
do something else? Just to see what she would say. I
right.
recall you made me think of when I was maybe in fifth grade. At the time I got reprimanded from my mom for doing the same thing.
Well,
And my response was that we did go to Billy's house first, but then all the kids were playing there and everybody said, hey, let's go to the park or let's go to the ball field. So we went there. My mom's issue was I didn't check back with her first to say we were leaving his house to go there. And
huh,
my issue was it's a lot of work to drive my bicycle all the way home. See, in those days, nobody had cell phones or anything.
right.
So I had to drive all the way home. And then by the time I told Mom, now we're going to be at the ballpark. And then by the time I get back to the field, they already picked teams and started the game without me. And
Right.
at that time, I think let my mom be aware of my issues. That
Ah,
so I'm not
good.
sure how we worked. I'm not sure how we worked it out, but
Yeah.
I don't think I won. I think she said you still need to tell me where you are. So
Huh.
if you're going to leave someone's house and go somewhere else, I need to know. So I don't think we resolved it, but I think I learned from that just the same as this thing, that we need to be honest, and sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do, and if that's making a detour to go tell mom we're leaving Billy's to go to the ballpark, I might have learned that it's important to my mom to do that, and I need to respect that. So
Yeah, maybe you and your friends could all go tell your mom so things wouldn't start without you.
yeah, maybe I could take a couple of them with me or something. And so, who wants to
Right.
go to Brian's, and who wants to go to the park? Yeah, that could be worked out probably. Yeah, good one. Yeah. Um,
Okay.
I'm glad the kid didn't lie. She told the truth.
Yeah.
He said, "You're
Well,
right. That woman was right. That told on me. I was really there." But and I think the mom was a little harsh in one way too, about saying, you're not the daughter I wanted you to be. I don't know. I don't know if the kid can
right.
understand that at that age, but the mom was coming off clean. And I think her point in this scenario was that I don't really know much about baseball, but if you want to teach me, I'm willing to learn. So that was good. That worked. Made me
Yeah.
think of a time when my mom offered to be an assistant coach to one of my organized baseball leagues, and we just laughed at her, and it never
Uh-huh.
happened, but she did go there and offer to do it. Maybe the coach laughed at her too, because she never became a coach, but she did support the effort. So I
Right.
think some parents, just by maybe washing your baseball suit or buying you a new bat and a glove every year or something like that, that shows effort too. Coming to the games,
Right.
even as an adult, I work as a musician, and when some people support, my events just by showing up, that's all I need. So it goes
Right.
into adulthood too, support for what you're doing. And I
Yeah.
think the mom showed that here in this scenario, so it worked.
Right.
The way she
So they
handled it worked well.
so they both came up with good things. The
Yes.
daughter not not to promising not to lie again,
And the
and
mom understanding and coming clean that she didn't know much about baseball, so there wasn't much she could share, but if she was willing to learn. I liked
right.
all that. And the thing is, they took the time to talk it out. Where some people build up these issues in their mind, say, that kid lied to me. I'm not going to say anything now, but next time she does it, that kind of stuff doesn't need to be the way to handle people. But
Right.
unfortunately, that's a lot of the way parenting is now. So think folks
You
need to
mean
step back and
holding
make a
holding things in,
yes,
building up resentment?
yeah. And
Huh.
then you refer to that stuff and hold grudgements. We talked about that
Wow.
before. Little kids don't seem to do that, but adults do. Remember the
Yeah.
time you went to the baseball field, didn't tell me? I told you that day not to ever do that again. That's how a lot of parents speak to their children. I'm sorry,
Uh,
mom, but I like baseball and my friends wanted to do that. And, you didn't tell me you're going to the baseball field. I don't even like baseball. I don't even know why you're doing that. This mom didn't handle it like that. She was the opposite. So I could appreciate her efforts.
hmm. Right. Okay. Um, I'm I didn't look through this next thing, so I'm not really sure. Um, it's it's from a previous, oh wait, I'm losing the page. All right. It's from one of the early shows that I did. Once I started making PowerPoints for them, slideshow,
Okay.
and it deals with that situation of how do you go from being stressed to actually enjoying how things are going. So that's what this mother did in the story. Okay, and also I'm just going to bring this up right now. Some version of that story will be in my new Friendly Parent Storybook. So I haven't sent, did I send that to you? What I
I'm
have
not
so
sure.
far? Okay.
I have to check. Maybe not.
Yeah, I might not have. Anyway,
Okay.
but it's got lots of stories that I've collected over the years. I just have to shift them into the one rule because that's
Mhm.
my focus now. So, because I think it's most helpful. All right, I'm going to pull this one up. Oh, wait a minute. I have to do another screen share first. Okay.
I got it.
Okay. All right. This was back when the show was Karen Rice's Family Zoom Station. This was the 5th episode. And it was during the time when everybody was staying home, no school, no work. And it was dealing with the stresses of those times. Okay, let's see what here. Okay, I'm going to go on to these were the okay, it was dealing with the stress of everybody having to stay home together and how
During
to,
COVID times.
yeah, those
Okay.
times.
Yeah.
Okay, so today it said, today I'm going to share a few simple strategies with you so that you can ease your stress and reduce your overwhelm. So that'll work in any situation, really, with your kids. And then we had, did you, were you ever on with Barda Allen, who had done
Maybe
the
once, twice.
unschooling? Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
I speak about unschooling a little bit in my book, Your Life Sucks. I have a whole chapter on it.
Aha.
Yeah, so
Wow.
it's like the opposite of schooling,
Right.
So yeah, I did a little research and I touched on that too a little bit in my works.
Yeah, I know you wrote a book on homeschooling, right?
Yes, I that was one of my theses in graduate school, and
Yeah.
I got that published, and then they took that data and they stuck it in a book
Oh,
as
that's
chapter
right.
9 or 10. Yeah, they put it in this book
Yeah.
here, A School for Every Child, and it
Yeah.
talks about different school options. And my chapter in here is on homeschooling.
Okay. That's good. I'm
It's a
glad you,
whole different world, as we know.
yeah, right. And unschooling even more so. So,
Yes, ma'am. I agree.
I mean, I guess unschooling is a form of homeschooling, but anyway,
Right, just not traditional learning. There's still the people in unschooling, in my opinion, are all for education and learning, but not necessarily through the traditional methods.
Right.
like the public school. Yeah.
Right. Like if kids in a classroom and all that.
A lot of celebrities and well-known people like writers and poets and things have been quoted regarding their thoughts on unschooling. And
Uh-huh.
like I said, your friend that you bring on to your show here sometimes will probably know just as much about that as I do, maybe more. But I offer some of their insight in my book too. So
Ah,
I
nice.
thought a lot of the things they said were pertinent to what you talked about. People are just looking for results. I think everybody wants outcome, but the journey, the path to it is important too. And if you choose to homeschool, traditional school, unschooling, there's a lot of options to get to where you want to go.
Right. Yeah, there are. Okay. Okay, I'm going to share tools, skills, and strategies I used as a parent and teacher, and some new ones I've discovered and created for my personal well-being. If you're feeling stress, it is most likely you're going to want to be able to ease your stress right in the middle of stressful situations. It helps if you can become aware of increasing stress as you start to feel it. It's kind of like something I used to call my cue. I wrote about it in my first book and in my basic trainings. It was what I felt before I got upset. It is a similar process with stress. I'm sure you can see that it is much easier to change your direction before there is a lot of momentum pushing you in the direction you're headed in. Pay attention to how you're feeling. Notice changes. Maybe you'll notice a tightness in your neck or shoulders. Maybe you'll notice that you're clenching your jaw or your abdomen, or even holding your breath. This is your cue. Discovering your cue is the first step. You may already be aware of what it is. The next step is doing something about it, something calming, because you don't have a lot of alone time in those days that I wrote this. It's good to choose something you can do when others are there. The following list comes from my original Plan for Calm and from more current discoveries. Choose what works for you. Time out. This keeps coming to mind, so let's start with this. It's best if you explain to your family that in order to keep in a good mood, sometimes you're going to have a timeout, and ask them to please not bother you until your timeout is over. Where, as long as everyone is safe, choose your place. If you need to be in the room with others, you might sit in a corner or even just be there listening to something on your earbuds, music, inspirational, calming. How long? Hopefully as long as you need to get into a good frame of mind. You could decide beforehand and tell everyone. You could set a timer, or you could just tell them that you'll stop as soon as you feel good again. During your timeout, do something that is satisfying for you with the intention to feel better. Read for a while, listen to music, play music, sing. Take a shower, a bath if you can. Meditate, visualize, work out, dance, call a friend. Go work in your shop if you can. Something that makes you feel better. Change your focus. Two ways to do this come to mind, but they both result in changing what you are thinking about. In fact, everything in Time Out does that too. The reason this helps is because what you are thinking about is what is causing the stress. Change those thoughts to something more enjoyable, and you can start to relax. You can do the following wherever you are. Observe something you enjoy, something in nature, your pet, your kids. Think a more enjoyable thought. Think an enjoyable thought, at least a more enjoyable thought from the past, present, or future. Just focus on your breathing. Take deep, slow breaths. This is how we breathe when we are calm. My pattern interrupt. This is something I use a lot in my life. It was kind of revealed to me internally. Okay, 1, choose a positive phrase, word, sentence, mantra. Repeat it silently in your mind. For me, it vanishes when I'm feeling good again. At some point, I realize I'm not repeating it anymore. Yeah, that's something I use like all the time. Although the above strategies are effective at reducing stress and overwhelm, the following strategy can prevent much of your stress and overwhelm from being created, especially when it comes to your kids. Imagine your home. Everyone is getting along, helping each other. This doesn't mean there are no differences in opinion, values, interests, needs. But you now have the means to harmonious solutions, and each of you know this, practice it, and reap the benefits. The one rule does it all. Knowing and following the one rule is all you really need to create harmony between you and your kids. I'd already realized and documented that over the years I raised my own children, worked with hundreds of children as head teacher in the Montessori school I co-founded, and in public schools after that. I had used, discovered, and created 108 tools, skills, and strategies. One evening I was thinking, do people actually have to learn and know all of these 108 tools, skills, and strategies to be able to raise happy kids? It seemed so unlikely. Then I asked myself a question: what is the least that people need to know about what I've learned about raising happy kids so they can most quickly and easily raise their own happy kids? Or something like that, simple. During that evening, little by little, it was uncovered in my mind, going deeper and deeper, like digging for buried treasure, until I found it. Wow, that's it. That's all people really need to know. If they know this and use it, it takes care of all the rest. I was amazed. I told one of my coaches, and he came up with 108 parenting lessons in one simple rule. Well, I'm going to read this, but you know the one rule, of course.
Well, but your viewers might want to see it.
Right. Here is the one rule. To raise happy kids and to be happy yourself, make sure that all involved agree with each decision. I know it sounds too simple. It is simple. But this is how I raised my kids once I decided never to force them to do what they did not want to do. This was how I treated the kids I worked with. Why and how the one rule works. Apparently, our brain is hardwired to answer questions. When we are asked a question, or when we ask ourselves a question, our brain immediately begins searching for an answer. The one rule is like asking our brain a question, so it immediately begins searching for an answer. The problem, trouble, or conflict is the source of the question. We ask two primary questions. How can we find agreement? And what is really important to me in this situation? That's how there is a direct connection to the 108 tools, skills, and strategies that help solve the problem. You may have more or different solutions, but the 108 is what came up in my life. Your foundation is the heart-to-heart bridge. When you use the one rule, you create a heart-to-heart bridge between you and your child. That way, you both feel loved at all times. You are loved, but you also feel loved. They are loved, but they also feel loved. No one has to wait until there's some disaster or loss to recognize the love that is there. You and your child get to feel it at all times. Imagine the blissful power of this. Holding space. In my first coaching session on the one rule, I learned another important reason that the one rule works so well in creating harmony between kids and adults. When you're determined to be solution-oriented, and the solution must be one all involved agree on, you are holding space for yourself and for your child. You are not only a model of how to follow the one rule when you hold space for yourself, being determined that your needs get met too, you're helping them learn how to follow the one rule too. One of the most important reasons that the one rule works is that it does not deny anyone. We are each part of the agreement. Okay. Thanks for being here.
Yay.
Okay.
Basically, you started out talking about stress, and I fall in that category because I admit that I am a worrier. I worry. Um, some people say, just stop worrying. If you can control something, a situation, you know you'll handle it. If you can't control it, then it's out of your hands and you don't have to worry. Well, I still worry because I worry about outcome, like what we're talking about here. But I
Right.
also know that what you think about, you become. That's all you think about is your worries. You're just going to be a worry wart. You're going to walk around always in a big mess and stressing. So a lot of those suggestions that you put there for us to go with, I think if people remember those suggestions and take note of everyone that you offered there, and maybe just focus on one at a time, eventually all those things will become your routine together. So I think we need to know that when you worry, and if you take all those things and make them become like your formula, that you use those things, you'll figure out that worrying basically is that you think something bad might happen, and you're worried either for yourself or that you might disappoint the other person as the outcome. So worrying is a two-way street. It's just not on you, it's on the other person too. Now, if you could learn from the other person that you're coming from, like, here's the thing, we're talking about children a lot here because that's what your focus is, how to communicate with children. Well, it goes in, your children are still your children when they become adults. And here's an example for me. My daughter came to me recently, her car broke down, so I helped her get it fixed. Now she comes to me 2 days ago, something else is wrong with it. Now, yesterday, we had to go tow it. So here I am thinking, I'm going to get mad at her because she's bringing me problems and not solutions, but also I need to take a time out, as you said, take a breath and tell me and understand it. It's just as stressful for her. She's worrying that she needs to come to her dad for help. And then she comes to me for help, and then I throw it back at her. Why do you keep breaking things? Why do you keep coming to me? Bring me solutions, not problems. So I say to her, well, where do you want to take it to get it fixed? Or is it something I could do to help you fix it? So each one of those things that you offered as a solution to stop worrying, you could put that back on to yourself as what can I do to help in this situation to resolve it, where I won't disappoint the people involved, where I can help them rather than making them feel worse, rather than putting more
Mm,
problems on them. I think maybe I did well at raising my daughter because she knows it's going to upset me that she comes to me with problems, but she knows that in the long run, even though that might be the way I handle it, I will help her. So that's where we are now. So maybe after we go tow her truck and I know that she can't drive it because it's in the shop, but I have to give her a ride home. Maybe we'll stop at Starbucks and I'll buy her coffee on the way home while we talk, kind of ease the pain a little bit. I could do things to take her mind off of the negative things about the situation and turn it around to be quality time that we can spend together.
wow, nice.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's
Yeah,
not just about the problem, but we are resolving this problem together. So once again, it's the journey, not the actual situation. It's how we conduct ourselves as we resolve the issues, where
nice.
we don't want to make mistakes on the way that'll make the issues worse. And I
Right.
think the solutions to this, you offer opportunities. Put your mind this way, that way, that way, that way. There's a lot of paths we can take. Maybe you want to review some of the things that you said, that you said, try this, try that, think of this. We need to keep those things in mind. It's important. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's extremely helpful to keep those things in mind.
And I think only educated parents would know that. Some parents, believe it or not, don't know about this professional development that you offer and these trainings. They might just be coming from a mind frame that what now? What do I got to do now to why you knocking on my door? What's wrong now? My truck's broke, or I need something for school, a little kid might say, or all the other kids bringing a gift for the teacher and I don't have one. And like, why do you always got to
Hmm.
give your teacher a gift? Why do you think you got to do what every other kid's doing? No, we need to understand it. It's not just about me. You're bringing me problems. Well, you must be bringing me problems because you have issues that you need to work out yourself. So we need to address those. And we could do it negative. I could complain about it and then help you anyway. It's the way I am. And that's the way I used to be. But now, like you say, people change too. And you need to
Yeah,
reassess who you are now.
yeah.
I saw something recently where people say in their marriage, maybe every 5 years, you need to reintroduce yourself to your spouse and say,
Wow.
hello, I'm Brian. You know, here's who I am today. And maybe we could rewrite our vows
Interesting.
to, if we were to renew our marriage today, how would we say today we would do if we were to marry each other today rather than 20 years ago? And you could say that to your kids. Now that you're entering junior high or high school, maybe things a little different from when you were in elementary school or kindergarten. How are they different now? And part of those answers might be, well, mom and dad, you taught me this in kindergarten. Then you taught me this in first grade. Then you taught me this in second grade. And now that I'm going in to middle school, these are the things that I think you did for me to help me be successful in this realm. And I
Hmm.
think we could take that up into adulthood.
That's
Stress is
interesting.
always going to be there. You're either going to have a car payment or car repair payments. That's what I think, but they're going to
Uh-huh.
be there. It's how you handle it,
Right.
how you handle it.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I think these education techniques that you offer in the one rule and in your trainings we keep that in mind. What you think about, you become. If you think about things that are bad all the time, you're going to become a worrier, a worrywart. Who wants to be around someone like that? But if you think
Mm,
about positive things, how we can handle our worries and make them better, or how we can take action on the negative things in a positive way, that's the kind of person that I want to go to with my problems rather than the other choices. I want to go to
right.
someone that's going to help me do the right things to resolve my issues. And that's what's been working for me. And I don't have to just keep saying that. I can show evidence of that every day by the interactions I have with people. And and gosh, it's not just I've been doing that all along. I'm learning still too how to get better at it. But I bet you 10 years ago, I didn't handle things as well as I do now. And a lot of it has to do
Yeah, I
with
can relate.
coming to these meetings, going to focus groups, taking classes, motivational talking, self-talk,
Right.
following the one rule, keeping that stuff on the tip of my tongue at all times. It needs to be refreshed.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
try to come back here every Tuesday whenever I can. If I have a moment, I'll even put something off till the afternoon, till
Wow.
after this hour is over, and go do it then to try to get this
Nice.
in, because this helps me hopefully just as much as your viewers and the people that subscribe to your one rule offerings.
Cool. I'm glad.
And like
Yeah.
you say, you've been doing this a while too, Karen. When you offer things from 6 or 7 years ago, like you said, they're even outdated as to what your teachings are today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but not by much. But what happens is you develop thought and you add and improve on it.
Even the I'll say it. I've finished the training course, and I added something to it since I sent a version to you. But
Okay.
I feel it's finished, and I feel like the one rule is in terms of what I offer. Um, it feels like reaching the top of the mountain, sort of, and
Work. Now it's time to put it to work and
yeah,
document results and see
yeah,
which way it goes. Yeah. And I think that's
yeah.
happening naturally. It's just
It, well,
anybody that actually takes action and utilizes some of these ideas that you're offering are going to get results.
I was uh, last week I got asked to give a talk and maybe a demonstration at a wellness symposium in February.
Mhm.
So, that it's expanding like that.
Mhm.
And that's one of my main focuses now, is expanding the reach of this. So, um,
Great. I hope it goes well. That's great.
thanks. Yeah.
Sure they'll enjoy your input, and it'd be neat to follow up and see how they utilize some of the things they pick up, you know, from you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then on the other hand, too, this is one of my things, and what you'll get from them. You'll
Uh-huh.
you'll you'll find out what their needs are, and you'll
Right.
figure out right. And you can learn from them too. I tell
Yeah.
my students that all the time. That I learn just as much from you as I think maybe you're learning from me in these lessons.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's important to me to have insight on where the other person is coming from. That's why I was saying that stress is a two-way street. A lot of people that worry, they think it's just on them, but what they're worrying about, I think, is disappointing other folks. Like
Huh.
You know what I mean? It's like, if you're worried, what are you really worried about? You're worried something bad's going to happen and you don't want that to happen. Well, it's not always about you. Something bad's going to happen. It might affect others. And if you're a parent, there you are. You don't stop worrying about your children at any moment, I don't think. But
Right.
it's where you put your focus. You put your focus on how you're going to help them, not what's going to happen to them in a negative way if this problem embellishes, or if you can't resolve it right away. You can't keep saying what's going to happen to them right away. If you have control of that, then change it. If you don't, do the best you can to deal with the situation and make it better. So I'm injured right now, and I've been injured for a couple years, but I'm
Right.
trying not to lay in a deathbed every day. I still want to get out there and do good things. I want to do things that are
Good.
enjoyable to me and things that help others.
Good.
And I can't do that
Nice.
by lying in bed injured. So my best goal for me was to get out of that bed and try to get around any way I can, in a wheelchair, in a walker, with a brace on my leg, any way I can, still get out there and interact with other folks. And that's what I'm doing here with you right now. I could be,
Nice.
in the next room sleeping, saying, I'm just going to stay home all day and do nothing. Or I could get up and do things. And one of the things I do is make a point to come here and be with you on Tuesday
Wow.
afternoons. It's like Tuesdays with Maury. You ever read that book?
No.
Well, you should look that up. We have that in common. Tuesdays with Maury. It's a guy that went to his professor when the professor was sick every Tuesday and just met with him for an hour or two. So that's what I try
Wow.
to do here with you. I meet with you on
Nice.
Tuesdays and get my positive injection, of good things that I could learn from you every Tuesday.
Wow. That's so
So yeah,
cool.
you might look up that book Tuesdays with Maury, and
Yeah,
you'll
I can
see.
do
You'll
that.
see. It's a good thing. It's what I'm doing here with you. My Tuesdays with Karen and her podcast. So it's fun. It's
Cool.
enjoyable. It makes the rest of my Tuesday better to know that I came here and did this and picked up something from it each week.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. I have, yeah, last time we started looking at, let's see, we started looking at one of the ebooks that I have,
Okay.
that was based on the newspaper column. And so I'm going to do that again. I'm going to screen share again. Whoa. Oh, that was the end of the slideshow. Okay. Uh-oh. Ah, I was having trouble getting rid of that.
Yeah, you already had stuff up that you were ready to go with.
Yeah. Okay.
You got it.
This is one of the questions I got asked. Parental guilt. What do you do? Oh, I should just review quickly. I had a newspaper column, and people that lived in the local area would ask me questions about, because the power of respect was my focus in those days. And it's the
Mhm.
foundation of the one rule, actually. There you'll see a lot of similarities in what I wrote in those days and how the one rule works. So people would ask me questions and I could answer them in the newspaper. It was a weekly column called The Power of Respect. Okay. What do you do about your guilt and remorse over past parental mistakes? And the answer, this person lived in a little tiny little, barely a town near in that area called Bryceland. Okay, forgiveness. It can help to remember that at the time, given who you were, given the information you had, given your circumstances, you did the best you knew how. Now, with different information, different circumstances, a different you parent differently. And some of what you did in the past looks like mistakes. Maybe it was. Oh, but it is past. Perhaps you gave your kids the chance for greater compassion because of what they suffered. There might be lessons they needed to learn, and what you did was part of their learning them. Think as positively as you can about what has already happened. Be your own best friend, and always give yourself the benefit of the doubt. At that time, you did not think you were committing mistakes. Maybe you weren't. You might also check with your kids, even if they're now adults. If they agree that you committed parenting mistakes, ask them for forgiveness. Ask if there's anything you can do now to help repair any damage you may have unknowingly done. Then do it. Ask them to help you make sure that you don't continue any of the mistaken parenting patterns you started in the past. So,
I know a guy, his name's Chaz Mary or something like that. He always says, would you rather be loved or feared?
oh, wow.
Like, so I think I was afraid of my mom my whole life because she was like they called her the sergeant. But she raised 8 kids and I was the oldest. So I think
Oh,
in her early days, he was kind of mean and strict. But
huh.
now that I look back at it, that might have been something good in the long run. Maybe I mistook it for love, but I was afraid of her, and mostly just because of consequences. I think I did learn from it. Now, my younger brothers and sisters, they might have a different outlook. They all were lovey-dovey and huggy, I love you, mommy, and I was just like, yes, ma'am. I need to
Right,
be on task, or I'm going to disappoint you. So you need to think about what your relationship is with your children. Are they afraid of you, or do they know that you love them no matter what? I guess that
right.
brings me to what we talked about one week when my daughter chooses to do spankings as a punishment, as a last resort. I would never do that. But
Yeah,
gosh, if I was her kid, I would fear the spanking. So I would never want to get to that level. You know what I mean?
right.
I would, but maybe that works for her. Doesn't work for me. But I'm willing to accept other people's choices of how to handle things. But I think what you're talking about there is if you regret some of the decisions you made, you need to also accept you did the best you could at that time from the knowledge that you had and the tools per se of what you were using then. Now,
Right,
you don't have to continue in that path as a parent once you learned the one rule and other things. You don't have to continue in the old ways that make you develop other regrets. That doesn't have to happen now.
right.
So what you think about, you become. Think about how you want to be rather than things that you'll regret
Right.
later. Make
Yeah,
decisions and choices of how you would want to be treated if you were the child. How is your child expecting you to handle things? Maybe you want to do that first rather than say, well, I'll do it later, but right now I'm going to spank you out of anger. Or right now I'm going to punish you out of anger. Or I'm going to make you do this just because it needs to be done. So like you said at the beginning of this episode today, make choices that are going to be the good choices that the person wants you to do, what they expect from you. And that person is the children you're working with. They need to trust you.
Right.
As a parent, as a teacher, they need to trust that you're in that situation because you are responsible. You're a responsible person. They need to know that you're going to do the right thing by them, no matter what. They keep coming back to you because they know that they can trust you. But you agree that that's the way to roll. That's got to be it. And I think the one rule does that your children have learned to trust you, Karen, and the children you
Yeah.
work with need to trust it, because look at the outcome. All your children grown up to be responsible, grown people. And then
Right.
look at their surroundings. Look at the people they're influencing now. It's all working out well. What do you think? And you're the leader of all that. I mean, I look at the pictures you post of your family. They're all happy and smiling. They love to be with you. Wouldn't you want that as the thing for everybody rather than the alternative?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Talk to people all the time. I haven't talked to my dad in 20 years.
I
Why?
know.
What he did to me 20 years ago. Well, that's over. Move on. Forgive. Take the first step to call him up and say, maybe you can let him let it go of what he did wrong. Dad, I'm
Mm.
sorry we had that fight back in 1963. You know, that's over with now. You're not the same person. Either am I. Let's make a new bond that we're going to love each other from now on. Can I buy you a coffee, Dad? You know, I owe it to you. And he might say, yes, I'll meet you at Starbucks. Could
Right.
happen.
It
So
could
anybody
happen.
out there watching, if you're mad at your dad because he might have regrets of something he did in your childhood, let it go. Move on. Life's too short.
Mm.
So Karen, wrap us up. What do you want to say about today? Was about stress, right? Let it
Right.
go. Let it go.
Right. Yeah. Focus on what you want, how you want things to be instead
Not
of,
for yourself, but for everyone involved.
right.
What's the
And
best
for
way?
yourself. And for
Right.
yourself. Yeah. For
Right.
yourself
Right.
and for everyone involved. Yeah.
We're all included. We're all
Yeah.
here.
We're all, yeah, we are.
There's
All of
a
us.
guy told me once, and I never forgot that there's no one here that doesn't supposed to be. Everyone, God put us
Nice.
all here. There's no one here
Yeah.
like, I don't talk to him. He's not supposed to be here. Says who?
Right.
If,
Really.
if he's here, he's an influence on us in one way or another, and we can
Yeah.
learn a lesson from that. That's
That's
why my
right.
book is called Your Life Sucks Because You're a Jerk. Well, we can learn from the jerks too. And that's what I write in my
Yeah.
book. We can learn from the negative people too. How not to be. If that's the lesson, don't be like that guy. Okay.
Right.
And that might be where people are saying somewhere, don't be like that Brian guy. We don't want to be like him. Well, my
Well,
phone
probably
rings every
not.
5 minutes, every 5 seconds. So many people need help. I'll call
Ah,
you back. All right, Karen.
okay,
See you next
Brian.
week, I hope.
Okay. Have a great
Keep
week.
doing what you do. We love you, Karen. Keep doing what
Oh,
you do.
okay.
I can't wait to come to Vegas next time to see you.
That'd be great. Yeah,
All
that'd be
right.
great. Okay. All right. Well, have a good week.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Bye,
Pleasure.
everybody.
Pure
Yes,
pleasure.
ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay.